Good evening, friends, and welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. For decades, my work has focused on documenting unusual clusters of missing persons cases across North America. These cases often occur in or around our national parks and forests. They defy conventional logic, sharing uncanny, sometimes impossible characteristics that demand closer scrutiny. Today, we're going to examine a deep mystery that fits the Missing 411 profile perfectly. It's a case that haunts the rugged, high-elevation mountains of Montana. We are talking about the sudden, inexplicable vanishing of 4-year-old Nylene Marshall. This story began on a seemingly perfect sunny Saturday afternoon in June. The date was June 25th, 1983. The location, the Elkhorn Mountains, within the Helena National Forest of Jefferson County, Montana. It's an area of rugged, rocky, dense forest. Classic, prime Missing 411 territory, characterized by steep terrain and dense, almost impenetrable sections of timber. Nylene K. Marshall was a bright, beautiful girl, just 4 years old. She had brown hair, blue eyes, and a small mole above her left eyebrow. She was enjoying a perfect summer day with her family, who were attending a local ham radio operator's picnic. A large, relaxed, yet slightly scattered social gathering. Nylene was playing with other children in Mopang Creek, catching frogs and giggling. A picture of typical childhood innocence. She was lightly dressed in only a yellow t-shirt and shorts. And, critically, she was barefoot. That detail, the bare feet, is illogical. It's a recurring, bizarre, and unnerving signature we see again and again in our most mysterious Missing 411 disappearances. Around 4:00 p.m. that afternoon, the impossible occurred. The children were briefly separated near the creek's beaver dams, close to a cluster of granite boulders. According to the children, after a small, minor squabble, Nylene was instructed by an older girl to simply sit on a rock and wait for the others to return. They turned their backs for a brief moment, maybe only 30 seconds. But when the older child turned back to retrieve her, the rock was empty. Nylene was gone. No cry. No sound of movement. No struggle. Just absolute silence. What followed was an immediate and overwhelming mobilization. The sheriff's office, hundreds of volunteers, K-9 teams, and specialized search and rescue poured into the area. They conducted massive, shoulder-to-shoulder grid searches across the Elkhorns. They used helicopters, infrared sensors, and later, even the FBI was involved. The terrain was difficult. But we are talking about locating a 4-year-old child. She should have been found within a few hours. Tops. If she had simply wandered off, she would have left physical evidence. A clear barefoot print in the soft earth. A piece of yellow cloth caught on the thick brush. Something. Yet, after 10 full days of exhaustive, intense searching, nothing. Not a single trace of her clothing or any forensic evidence was ever found. It's as if Nylene didn't just walk away and get lost. She was systematically removed from the landscape. Instantly and flawlessly. This lack of evidence is the definitive hallmark of a classic missing 411 case. Now, let's consider the unsettling detail provided by the only witnesses, the other children, a potential predator, or perhaps something even stranger. The children reported seeing an unknown man near Nylene just moments before she vanished. He was wearing a highly distinctive purple jogging suit. This man reportedly approached her. He asked her if she wanted to play a game. The interaction itself is alarming, but what he said next is deeply disturbing. He allegedly whispered a chilling, cryptic phrase to the 4-year-old, "Follow the shadows." Why that instruction? It sounds like a psychological lure, perhaps meant to guide a victim toward an unseen access point or a hidden boundary within the wilderness. Despite the crowd, no other adult was definitively confirmed to have noticed this oddly dressed man lingering near the children. It remains a terrifying, isolated piece of testimony. In these cases, we always observe the environment. The weather turned almost instantly, adding to the mystery. Heavy, cold rain, near freezing temperatures, and even snow fell on the 4th of July weekend, effectively ending any chance of survival for a barefoot child. This sudden, dramatic shift in weather is a signature we've documented countless times in Missing 411 files. It's almost as if the environment itself conspires to hinder the search. Nylene's case occurred in a mountainous area, right on the edge of a massive, unmanaged wilderness area, exactly where our clusters of unexplained disappearances are found. 2 years later, in 1985, the case took an even darker, more perplexing turn. Child Find and the NCMEC began receiving strange, unsolicited phone calls and detailed letters. These messages, supposedly from Nylene's captor, claimed he felt a sense of duty to care for her. He claimed they were happy, well cared for, and traveling extensively. The letters contained verifiable internal details about Nylene, suggesting the writer had genuine, intimate knowledge of the event, or was an expert at deception. The phone calls were ultimately traced to a single location, a phone booth in Madison, Wisconsin, a startling distance of over 300 miles from the Montana picnic. This massive distance, a 19-hour high-speed drive, is implausible to cover with a young child without being noticed at gas stations or restaurants. The logistics are impossible. And as soon as authorities were able to pinpoint the geographic area, the calls ceased entirely, vanishing as quickly and as quietly as Nylene herself. This extreme, swift transit forces us to ask, what if the kidnapper did not travel by conventional means? What if Nylene was taken by a phenomenon we simply do not yet understand? We have documented evidence suggesting localized, temporary dimensional rifts in these high-risk mountain areas. It would explain how a 4-year-old could be gone instantly and reappear 1,000 miles away. Or consider the possibility that the man in purple was merely a distraction, a human cover for a non-human territorial entity. We have reports of cryptids, large territorial creatures like the Nantinaq in regional lore, known to manipulate human prey and lure them off established paths in the mountains. The lack of a body and the complete cleansing of evidence suggests an entity that doesn't leave traditional forensic traces, something capable of making a person completely disappear. Tragically, the horror did not stop with Nylene. Years later, her mother, Nancy Marshall, was found deceased in a hotel room in Mexico City. Ruled a suicide. But the physical evidence suggested otherwise. Her hands were tied behind her back. She had unexplained injuries, and the door to her room had been forcefully kicked in. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to silence her. Did Nancy get too close to the truth? Perhaps identifying the perpetrator who may have been connected to that very ham radio community. This case contains so many of the signatures that define the missing 411 phenomenon. The silent vanishing, the lack of a body, the confusing, impossible distance of the alleged captor. Nylene's family is owed an answer. We continue to present these difficult facts to shine a light into the darkness, to acknowledge that some disappearances simply do not fit the established narratives. They are chilling. They are anomalous. They are missing 411. If you know anything at all about the man in the purple jogging suit or Nylene's vanishing, no detail is too small. You just might hold the final piece of the puzzle that solves this heartbreaking mystery. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, be aware of your surroundings and stay safe in the woods.